Come on, is anybody still buying from these pre-recorded videos in 2026? And these ads here, fully AI generated, fake face, fake voice, everything's fake. We are literally living in a trust recession right now. Every info business is automated. AI videos, AI ads, AI DMs, AI VSLs. And don't get me wrong, automation is useful, but it cannot create the one thing that actually makes people buy high-ticket offers, okay? Trust. While every info business is trying to automate, we're doing the exact opposite. And that's exactly how we help one of our clients generate over $170,000 in one single week, how we helped another agency client scale from $0 to $233,000, and how we've generated over $500,000 in the last months with paid traffic only for our clients. All by using the most powerful high-ticket funnel in 2026.
Webinars.
Webinar funnel.
Webinar.
Alex Hormozy has generated over $100 million with his last webinar. Jason Fladlian generated more than $250 million with webinars. Shelby Sepp, Brooke Hitting, John Lee, every seven-figure info business is running webinars. So if webinars are good enough for the biggest info businesses in the world, why aren't you running them? This video will be the only video that you ever gotta watch about webinars, because unlike 90% of growth operators, I've actually written multiple six-figure webinars myself, and in this video, I'm not gonna gatekeep anything. Yeah guys, before we get right into it, just to show you real quick that the results that I'm gonna talk about here are actually legit. We're in Airtable right now, this is our tracking system. I'm gonna refresh the page, and as you can see, it stays exactly the same. So this is not some screenshot, okay, not some AI generated bullshit. We have actually done this. I have invested hundreds of hours, thousands of hours into learning this, okay? And today I will share it with you. Yes, Jan. So I thought, why not show you a real case study, how we scaled this client here from $0 to $233,000 with cold webinars only, okay? Our client over here, Phil, he had no organic reach. He was burned by other agencies before he tried to run webinars, had the wrong messaging, the bad office structure, horrible webinar show rates, a flawed landing page, low converting presentation, no backend selling system, unhealthy domain, okay? In plain English, they weren't making any money because the agency was shit. So we stepped in there, and to be honest, in the first 2 to 3 weeks, it was just losing money and testing around. But then we figured out the right funnel, the right messaging, okay, the right ads messaging, the right funnel alignment. I will show you the entire ads right now. We figured out how to fix this ugly ass landing page here that the agency created, okay? And we created our own landing page funnels, okay? We fixed the entire email system because he was struggling with horrible show rates. His show rate were at 8% and we got him to 41%. We've implemented an entire new presentation. Okay, I'm going to show you the real presentation right now in a second. Then we've also changed the entire follow-up system, the sales system, tracking every single thing. So yeah, that's literally just going to be the only video that you got to watch about webinars. So let's get right into it, okay? The most important thing is that the messaging that the other agency was using was completely wrong, okay? And here's what we guys have changed. So when we think about the different funnel awareness levels, okay, we generally think about non-buyers, mass market, needs convinced, and in-market. And what a lot of agencies do is, because they see Iman Gaji, Russell Brunson, all these famous guys do, they try to target the mass market, needs convinced, okay? So these are people working a 9 to 5, people looking to build a second income or stuff like that. But this market, so basically over here, corporate 9 to 5ers. But the problem with this market here is that the sales friction, okay? The sales friction is really, really high. So the friction that you need to overcome to actually first sell someone on, we were basically selling a high-ticket coaching over here, a high-ticket Amazon coaching, okay? To first sell them on Amazon, on e-commerce, then on your coaching program, on your unique way of doing Amazon. If they have never heard anything of Amazon before, or they have no idea about the business model, it's really difficult to take someone from completely unsophisticated and unaware to, I'm going to buy your 12K coaching program, okay? That's why we really went in market. We targeted people who are actively selling on Amazon, okay, or people who are sold on the idea of doing Amazon and have some money to invest. So people who are doing the research right now, people who are close to start, or who are actively selling right now. And you're going to see it in the ads. So right now, okay, I'm going to show you 4 ads that are absolutely cooking for us. And as you can see, we are averaging a 3% click-through rate on our ads, okay? So this is one ad set over here. Okay, and in this ad set, we're averaging a 3% click-through rate. On the other one, 2.7%, okay? We have a 42% hook rate, which is really, really strong on Meta, okay? And our CPMs are really, really stable, as you can see as well. So I will show you right now. By the way, this wasn't always like this, okay? When we first started out, our click-through rate was literally at 1.4 and our CPMs were at 150, but we fixed it with the right way and with the right ads. And one of the main things here are content native ads. When you're running webinars, when you're running ads in general, you need to make sure that your ads are native to the platform, okay? They need to look like a reel, like a reel that's just popping up in their feed and that resonates with what your leads, your ideal customer generally sees in his feed, okay? So in our case, it's really just talking head style. It's raw, yapping to the camera, some text overlays, Instagram buttons, in-app editing features, okay? We use Instagram edits. I can just tell all your editors, when you're running ads on Instagram in general or on Facebook, tell all your editors to use Instagram edits instead of all of these weird motion graphics they're using, okay? And yeah, we use something like majority hook. This is why our hook rate is so high over here with 40%, okay? So one of our hook is, for example, give me your phone, okay? It really starts with give me your phone, and this is just to keep the hook rate high. Why do we want to use majority hooks? Because look, we use majority hooks. If I would say something like, if you're an Amazon seller and you want to scale your business, sign up for your webinar, I will target a minority of the market, okay? But I want Meta to push my ad far and to really get those winners that get 3% click-through rate, 40% hook rate. That's why I need majority hooks. Hook that can hook a broader mass, even though maybe not everyone will be qualified, but there will still be more qualified people that I can hook in because my hook is broader and I hook them in the first 3 seconds compared to starting with an if this, then that hook, okay? So give me your phone and I'll show you how to land reliable US suppliers for your Amazon business. And this is where we then niching down, obviously, Amazon business, without getting ghosted, blocked, or buying from sketchy sources. These are pain points that we're actively handling in the ads. If you've been trying to partner directly, and this is again, niching down qualifier after the big hook, to partner directly with US suppliers to resell the products, and you've tried cold email. Now, why are we doing this here? This is basically a pain point. We're describing their situation. We call these kind of ads stalker ads, okay? So stalker ads are basically ads where your lead really wants to think that you're stalking them because you can describe their situation so accurately. And this is why customer understanding is key, okay? And then we basically dig a bit into the pain points over here. And then we want to present the solution over here. That's not, it's not that it doesn't work. It's that 90% of that Wise Online tells you to approach suppliers. This is a common enemy. We want to find a common enemy that we have with our ideal customers. And in our case, it's a common advice online. And then we tell them why the common advice doesn't work, because obviously we need to back it up. Real distributors don't care about your store. They care about whether you look like a legitimate business, okay? Having the right script methods, opening line, right positioning. So what we're doing here, we're presenting them a solution, a logical solution that sounds clear to them. And then we CTAing them. If you're struggling to get suppliers, okay, this is alignment, because obviously the entire messaging says if you're struggling to get suppliers, and then we pick this up. We don't say just if you like what you've seen, okay? We just take this. I'm hosting a free live workshop where I walk you through the entire system I used to generate $4 million on Amazon. When we say something like $4 million, we really want to use this at the end of the entire ad because it's a claim and it will attract lower quality leads just dropping big numbers like that, okay? Now, another ad is a whiteboard ad. And whiteboard ads, this is the winning ad, by the way, the one that I showed you with 3%. The whiteboard ad actually got this 3.2% click-through rate right now. So the whiteboard ad is absolutely cooking, okay? And here's why the whiteboard ad is so good. Because of its hook, okay? As you can see, we always give editing instructions and recording instructions. So stand next to whiteboard with the line written, point at the line when you deliver it, and then cross it out on the whiteboard, okay? So basically in the ad, our client stands close to his whiteboard, right? And with the line, we don't work with Amazon sellers, which is, by the way, one of the most common pain points that most people have who try to get suppliers. I've heard that line more than I can count. And if you ever try to land a real US suppliers, I bet you've heard it too, probably hundreds of times. And then he crosses it out, as you can see, okay? But that line is nothing more than a huge excuse, okay? And then we tell them what actually happens. The problem is that you're sounding exactly like the same guy. So they ghost you or they hate you with the line, you know? US distributors do work with Amazon sellers. Can you notice one line? I'm writing one thing. I'm writing all these ads myself, handwritten, okay? And that's why these ads are getting such high click-through rates. That's why you don't need 100 ads, okay? You literally don't need 100 ads. You just need 1, 2, 3 good ads. This ad alone is getting us a 3% click-through rate and is taking all this money. We've got another ad, which is a winner. One ad, by the way, has generated us over $120,000 just from one single ad. And that's why you should focus your time on that. So number one advice that I can give you from, then we've got a green screen ad over here as well, where he reviews a Reddit comment, okay? Another yapping ad with all these majority hooks. So what you can take away from this ad lesson over here when you're running webinars is, focus on ad quality. Ad quality is key. And then you want to ideally have something like 15 to 20 different ads, different formats, okay? And you want to focus most of your time. So literally 80% of your time should be focused on the first 3 sentences and the hook. The first 3 lines of your ad determine all the success. That's why like all my hooks are so dialed in. For example, here we have a green screen hook. Over here we have the hook. You're probably one step away from deleting your Amazon account. Why don't I say Amazon seller account, even though this might be more in market? Because I don't want to decrease my hook rate. And when I would say Amazon seller account, my hook rate would be lower because a lot of people don't have an Amazon seller account, but there are more people who have an Amazon account. This is the kind of thought process that you need to go through, okay? Now look, the most important thing here is that you also try to really rely, and the biggest thing that I literally learned after generating $500,000 with Meta ads, okay, is that my targeting, the way how I pick my ICPs, how I want to pick my messaging is very often better than Meta's. So as you can see over here, we've got different ad sets. So we've got one winning ad, which is the course junkie. I didn't show it to you. I will gatekeep this one though. Okay, I gotta gatekeep one thing here at least. Okay, this is the ad that made us $150,000. If you want ads like this, you gotta work with me directly. Okay, links below. Now, anyways, this ad, I'm just putting this one in an ABO. Okay, so what is an ABO? An ABO is an ad set budget optimization, basically a campaign structure that allows you, and it's an ABO, then I can have something like a various ad sets. So I have ad set number 1, and ad set 1 has this one ad over here, okay, which is just the course junkie, which is the absolute winner, okay? And then I have ad set number 2, which are all the ads that I've just showed you right now, and they have one idea. So they don't have one ad, there are various ads in there. There's no proven winner yet, it's probably the whiteboard ad, but there are some other very strong candidates in there as well. So yeah, essentially you want to make sure that you have structures that allow you to force spend. Now, why do I do this? Because the coach junkie is winning, but I still want to test other ads and other angles. And as you can see, they're even outperforming the coach junkie right now. In terms of cost, in terms of ROAS, course junkie is still better. But yeah, that's how you want to test. And why you generally should do something like idea ad sets or persona ad sets, where you can group your ad sets or your ads by angle, okay? The next thing is that you want to make sure that your entire messaging throughout your funnel is aligned. Throughout the landing pages, throughout the emails, throughout the webinars, the entire messaging needs to be aligned. If the messaging isn't aligned, we will have huge drop-off points between all of these different steps of the funnel, okay? So let's say you've read through the ads right now with me, okay? Let's say you would land on the headline, and the headline would say, learn why Amazon is the best business model to build an online income in 2026. These guys are going to freak out because we're targeting people who are already actively selling on Amazon. It makes no sense. They already know it. Discover how I built my $4 million Amazon business without supplier headaches. Check. This is what they want, okay? Now, here's how the funnel, how the landing page that the other agency created literally looked like. Horrible. I mean, look at this. This is AI generated, no courses, no guesswork, just personalized mentorship. They start pitching the mentorship directly. This is something you should never do. You can run some direct mentorship ads, but I generally like to pitch the webinar first because the webinar gives you so much more room to set the frame. Last name is just not needed. Please fill up the form. This is just weird, okay? And it's just absolutely weird. There's nothing on this landing page. They even say webinar. We never say webinar. We say something like workshop, okay? Now look at the landing page that we've built. So we've got something like a banner. Oh, we've got, by the way, another design that we split testing, but this is the main design that converts the best. We have breaking, okay? I'm giving away the exact system I used to scale my Amazon business, and to $1.1 million in 4 years. Okay, then we've got some easing the pain scale without needing experience. We've got the date, we've got the timer, we've got get my free ticket. What we have over here is Instagram autofill. So basically, they can autofill all their data, their first name, their last name, their first name, their phone number, their email, and so on. We've got an agenda section. We've got a lead magnet that we're going to give away to get more people, host section, student wins, and a bunch of screenshots, okay? And once they register, we send them to this registered page where we're confirming the date. As you can see, very important to put the date in here. We've got the WhatsApp group. We've got something like confirm your email and a bunch of breakout videos that are tailored to the workshop. Is this workshop live? What if I can make it? I got burned. Will you try to sell me something? Okay? Questions that people have before signing up and before showing up to the workshop, okay? We tried something like a VIP ticket, to be absolutely honest. Because you're going to find a bunch of VIP ticket videos online on YouTube. I'm never the biggest fan of VIP tickets because every single time we tried it across different clients, it just got us worse results. And it was just better to optimize for getting, for the right ads, just writing better ads and more ads. You don't need some complicated VIP tickets and pixels. It's not that complicated, but it's just, you're optimizing for different things here. With VIP ticket, you're optimizing for buyers of a low ticket. And this doesn't necessarily mean that they are more likely, even though it's a purchase event. Yeah, I know it. But it doesn't mean that they're more likely to buy your high ticket product, okay? So I wouldn't do it in your opinion. You can split test it. We're also going to split test it once again. But I really wouldn't do it. I would just go with a normal landing page with my registered page over here. And then what you want to do is you want to pixel this page. So this is the registered page where lead are going to land on once they've registered. And there are basically two different standard events that you could fire here, okay? We either have the standard event lead. Lead is the main event that a lot of people are using, but it's used to promote free lead magnets generally. And this will attract rather freebie seekers. And we see a 40% higher lead quality with complete registration. This is the main event we use for webinar registration. It attracts people who register for a live event. It's a higher intent event, higher show rates, higher lead quality. Now, the most important thing here is UPixel operates on recency bias. So the number of the quality of leads that have hit your pixel in the past matters way more than the event that you pick here. So you can pick leads and still be successful. Definitely, we pick lead at the beginning, but now we switch to complete registration, okay? What I also have is I have a custom conversion event over here, which is qualified registration. So I'm basically getting my setters to dial leads that have registered for the webinar, and they want to qualify them and see if they actually gonna attend. And every qualified lead that picks up the phone, talks to them, and says, "Yo, I'm gonna show up. Yeah, for sure. Really hype." We're gonna the setter is gonna tag them in our CRM GHL. Okay, he's gonna tag them, give them a tag. GHL then fires a webhook. Zapier catches the webhook. And then Zapier fires a conversions API call to Meta, and Meta then receives this event and marks it as qualified registration. So I'm basically pre-marking qualified registration to condition my pixel and give myself an event that I can optimize for in the future. Now, once somebody has registered for the webinar, the most important thing is actually to make sure they show up. Because what a lot of these guys online don't tell you is that webinar funnels are difficult. They are difficult because think about it. Somebody clicks on your ads, then they're gonna register for the funnel. Then another 3-4 days pass, they need to show up to the webinar. Then they need to stay until the end. Then they need to book in a call. Then they need to show up to the call. And then they need to actually close, which creates in fact, a lot more drop-off points than a VSL funnel. But they are worth it if you know how to bridge them, okay? And your show-up system is crucial. So our client was struggling with 8% show-up rates. Every single person we talk to is struggling with show-up rates. They are still our biggest bottleneck, but we were able to fix them, okay? And one thing that we did, for example, was install a new domain. So we're using a software like Warmy right now, maybe you know it, that you can use to warm up your domains. We also, in the meantime, switched to Beehive just for better deliverability. Beehive really good deliverability. Worked for us way better than ConvertKit. To be honest, even though I was a big ConvertKit fan. And then we sent something like 15 to 20 value-based long-form emails that educate leads, that make them aware of the model of how sub mechanisms work. So product research, supplier research, delegation. We have some founder story here, 3 to 4 client testimonials, webinar related. Why do you run it? How long does it take to see results? What will I learn? How can you implement? Is this legit? I'm working full time. Handling a bunch of objections, setting expectations, handling first layer questions and second layer questions in the emails. Okay, they're long form. We include YouTube videos there. We include gamma balls, student wins, pictures. We just want to make sure the deliverability is dialed in so that lead actually open the emails. And as you can see, we got a show rate to 41%. We also use a WhatsApp group where we're nurturing them. Okay, in the WhatsApp group, we have polls for engagement. Yeah, so as you can see, we've got a full WhatsApp group breakdown structured here for VA, who can then we've got selfie videos that we're going to send there, pictures, screenshots, so much stuff, so many YouTube videos. And even though it's in the US and generally join rates are lower because it's in the US, it's still a great way of nurturing leads, okay? Yeah, that's basically another great nurturing mechanism. We have hammer them ads following the Jeremy Haynes practices that, again, handle first layer questions, second layer questions, objections, and expectations. If you don't know what a hammer them ad is, it is a retargeting ad. So once somebody has signed up, they're going to see us again. Okay, they've registered. And once they've registered, we're going to add them to a custom audience. And then we're going to retarget this audience with Reels on Meta, on Instagram, and so on. Okay, and we've got a short form hammer them sequence over here with 25 to 35 short form pieces, okay? And we've got a long form hammer them ad where we just use YouTube videos of a client. We chopped out the intro and the outro. And as you can see over here, some hammer them ads where we, for example, explain the difference between this model and another pretty similar Amazon model, why now is the best time, why it works for you, even though a lot of people fail, how to find products, and so on. So basically a bunch of common questions And you really want to, you can also take your FAQ videos, so that basically the videos that we have here on this, and run them as Hammer ads. You could take your student testimonials, okay? You could even take the screenshots and run them as static Hammer retargeting ads. So a bunch of different strategies that you can leverage here. And they're just great to keep value in front of the leads, to keep them nurtured and make sure they actually, we hit them from a bunch of different channels. So over here, email, WhatsApp, we also got SMS reminders. So we generally send something like 6 different SMS reminders before the event, okay? And hammer them ads. Now we come to the presentation. So yeah, obviously the presentation is the most important part of your entire webinar. You want to make sure, first of all, okay, if you're running webinars right now, that you want to check for if you're committing the following mistakes. Do you have a hook? This is very important. Okay. Do you have a structured intro? Are you selling them on the opportunity? Do you have a pain part? Are you future pacing them? Are you explaining the business model? Do you have live training where you actually screen share and deliver value as just a massive pitch? Now, this is the biggest problem that I see a lot of people do. Okay. They say always sell them on the what and not on the how, okay? But the truth is, leads sign up for a webinar because it's a free live workshop. They want value, okay? Now what happens if you just pitch them straight for 2 hours? Leads are gonna drop off because they're gonna think, oh, this is like every single other info business webinar, just a huge, massive pitch, and I learned nothing here. This is especially true since the market is really aware, okay? You could definitely rip this kind of webinars back in 2010 when nobody knew about info, okay? But right now, since there's so many course sellers, so many info products, so many coaches, you wanna make sure you actually deliver value and you stand out through the value that you deliver, which is why we always strongly focus on the training phases in a webinar. We wanna make training really good. We still have pain, we still have desires, we still have future pacing, but our training is the value leading part here, okay? Now, I wanna show you the webinar real quick. So yeah, for this webinar, we have a really, really sick design. We have a hook with, have you ever wished you could go back in the future? This is a great opportunity. We use visual images to sell the opportunity and to convey emotions, okay? Keep in mind, one of our winning ads was our course junkie ad, which is why we have images like this. Okay, I'm not an Amazon guru. I got burned before. He's telling his story over here. Then we're showing why our business model is better than other Amazon business. We have some proof over here, some live demonstrations, explaining the business model, breaking it down, the unique mechanism here of the entire business model. Then we dig into some pain, proof, future pacing, okay? We excite them about what they're gonna learn, and then we have different phases. We explain for every single phase, you wanna explain what it is, why it matters, why somebody should care, and so what? Okay, so what? So why should I care about this phase, and what happens without it? This one is business setup, and so on, okay? Yeah, so at the end of the training, we have 5 phases for this webinar over here. And at the end of the training, we have commitment questions. Was this valuable? What are the first things? The only things left is to get going. Then we have some crossroad options over here. You have different paths. We are emphasizing the pain of inaction. So what happens if you don't take action? I won't show you the offer, but I'm going to break down how we actually structure our pitch, okay? So look, once again, we start with the hook industry, then we dig into pain, future pacing, excitement, commit them to the webinar. Was this valuable? Ask them questions, get them committed, type in their names, their questions in the chat, okay? Let them future pace. This is why we have something like, what are the first things that you would do? Buy a new house, give money to your parents or whatsoever, transition to pitch, and then we have an FAQ and a Q&A at the end. And this is the exact framework that Jason Fladlien has used and how he's written webinars for Alex Hormozi and some of the biggest brands like Jordan Lee's AI acquisition, okay? And as you can see over here, our retention rate on our webinars, and one of our webinars is really, really, really high. And this is how you want your curve to look. If your retention curve looks something like this means your training section is bad. Your webinar sucks. Your retention is bad, okay? If your training section looks something like this, then it means there's one part in your webinar where lead just drop off, what they just simply don't care about. And you want to identify these parts by looking at the data, okay? Now look, here's exactly how we've basically structured our pitch. So after the crossroad option, we get into the pitch. And for the pitch, we always generally do something like a sales chain. We pitch the deliverable. So the deliverable over here could be one-on-one coaching. Then we pitch the outcome. So what do they get with this one-on-one coaching? Okay. And then we pitch the benefits. So what are the benefits of one-on-one coaching? Okay. And we do this for every single deliverable. So another deliverable, for example, is a prep center, deliverable prep center. The outcome is we pack your shipments. Okay, so they basically pack the shipments for their students. What is the benefit of this? You don't need to care about your fulfillment. Okay, you don't need to know where. Don't need to care. You don't need to care about your fulfillment. You don't need to care about the delivery. It's fully hands off, okay? We want to do this for every single deliverable that we pitch, and then we pitch one deliverable, outcome, benefit. Then we pitch the next deliverable, outcome, benefit. Next deliverable, outcome, benefit. Then we have something like the core offer, okay? And the core offer contains the main deliverables. And after the core offer, we pitch the first time, okay? Now, once we've pitched, what we want to do is we want to directly transition to bonuses and discounts. And the bonuses and discounts are the most valuable parts here, and they are free and tied to the urgency of the workshop. So these are bonuses that they only can get when they actually sign up from the workshop, that they can't get later. We use this to take advantage of the urgency of the live event. So exact same thing, bonus deliverable, outcome, benefit, okay? Pitch. After every single bonus, pitch. This is when we pitch then after every single bonus, because we've already pitched. Second bonus, pitch. Third bonus, pitch. Okay, discount, pitch. And then we transition to the FAQ, handle some common questions. After the FAQ, we pitch again, and then we go to the Q&A, and at the end of the Q&A and during the Q&A, depending how long it takes, we pitch again. And that's exactly what you want, because a lot of leads need more information to get off the fence. They need this urgency of the live event, okay? That's why you want to pitch at least 4, 5, 6 different times throughout the entire webinar, and really structure this pitch long, okay? Now, that's exactly how our pitch works. After the entire webinar, we have something like a 3-day replay promo system, a 3-day follow-up system, where they can then basically simply watch a replay promo, book in a call directly, okay? The replay is tied to the urgency of the bonuses. So we say something like, yo, you can still get the bonuses for 3 more days as long as the replay is available. And we do some promo for this in WhatsApp groups with selfie videos. We send emails to attendees to no-shows. We even transition webinar leads into a 7-day email course where we teach them a very valuable topic. And at the end of the 7-day email course, we're going to pitch again. And we have our dialer reach out to leads who attended the workshop and want to make sure to book them in on our calendar. Okay, now this is every single thing that gets your leads onto the to the calls. Okay, now once they are on the calls and once they've booked a call, you want to make sure they actually show up to the call, and you do this with the pre-call best practices. So we generally use something like sales assets, okay? Sales assets that we give our setters, that we embed in our pre-call flows that nurture leads, okay? So we've got this massive gamma board over here built out with a bunch of videos, testimonials, and so on. We embed these sales assets, different YouTube videos, different gamma boards in 15 to 20 pre-call emails with 4 to 6 SMS reminders that are value dense, long form, and they have logical messaging. So think about it. You've learned a lot on the workshop, but now there's a gap between implementation and action. So we want to emphasize that they still haven't taken action yet, okay? So the results and the future that we pictured in the webinar isn't touchable for them yet because they haven't booked in their call, okay? And then we want to pitch, we want to contain sales assets and so on. Also, our sales team obviously got to reach out. Need to have speed to lead. We do something like WhatsApp groups. Follow-ups are non-negotiable. Closers should send selfie videos. They should have an iPhone, okay? Send iMessages. Introduce themselves. Very, very, very important that your sales team has the best practices and that you're actually tracking everything so you know exactly where the leads are coming from. By the way, this is an old screenshot over here. Okay, you know exactly which UTM they're coming from, which ad the cash is coming from, which closer is performing the best, which setter is performing the best. If you generally have more PIFs, if you need to incentivize the bigger deals more, and then we have an automated onboarding and all that stuff as well. So yeah, that's essentially exactly how you can structure a completely paid webinar funnel. So keep in mind, you need the right messaging first. This is the most important thing. Then you need to make sure the entire messaging is aligned through the ads, landing pages, emails, webinars. You want to make sure you have an optimized landing page. You're optimizing for registration. You have your domain, okay? You're sending 20 emails at least. The emails are actually valuable and aligned with the messaging. You have a WhatsApp nurturing group. Ideally, hammer them ads, okay? You don't need hammer them ads for the first phases, but they just help long term. They take a lot of time, but they're definitely valuable. Okay, then you want to do your presentation following the Jason Fladlien framework. Okay, you want to structure your pitch with the core offer, with the bonuses. Okay, and you want to implement a follow-up system with 3 days of replay promo and an entire pre-call system. That's everything that a successful webinar funnel is built on. The most important thing here is, again, you taking initiative and doing the customer research the right way and the messaging research so everything isn't that way. We've restructured these webinar funnels various times. We had this webinar funnel with a completely different messaging when we first started, okay? But it takes time, it takes effort. It's definitely worth it, as you can see over here, okay? We now have over $233,000 in total revenue. The only thing that's left for you right now is probably implementing it. If you're a coach right now, if you have an agency, whatsoever, you're running webinars yourself, and you think, hey, cool, Simon, this sounds all good, but I'm just missing some practical things here. I don't know how to set this up myself. I don't know how to write a copy. I don't know what actually works for my audience. I don't know how all the tech stuff works. I don't know how to get a good sales team. Then feel free to partner with us, guys. This is what we do. We do long-term partnerships. Okay, we implement these entire webinar funnels in less than 14 days for you. We do the media buying, and feel free to book in a free strategy call. Growinginfo.com. Link is in my YouTube channel description. Okay, so you gotta go over there. And yeah, Simon.Asman on Instagram. Follow me there for more content. With that being said, guys, like the video, subscribe it, leave a like, share it with someone who needs to run webinars. And with that being said, guys, take care.